Welcome back, guys, to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, where last episode our continued pressing yielded yet more flames flying into the guilty verdict side of the scales until all six nestled there, with the old lady being the final one to commit after Barrel Command 6 revealed to her our defendant's actual profession, that of a high-rate loan shark draining people dry. With the trial coming to an end, Susato dragged an old law out of her book as Ryunosuke exercised his right to a summation examination, where the jury had to explain their reasoning for their verdicts, as we then started to pit the jurors against each other to point out flaws in the case, already having overturned 2 votes, with 2 more needed for us to continue the trial. And now we focus on Mr. Stabby Man, who before I will pit, because I think we know what we're doing, we will press, because why is he so gang-ho stabby, and he hates the rich despite the fact he looks kind of one? Hold it! Looks maybe deceiving though. Careful, you could hurt somebody with that. You're a fine one to talk. What if that sword hanging from your waist, No, that's just my battered soul. Well, anyway, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all the same, all stabbing some brickmaker or whoever behind the scenes, you mark my words.
Objection!
What? That seems very unlikely, doesn't it? Are you mad, man? We know that Small Shorty is a rotten Shylock. Well, yes, that does seem to be the case, but... Mr. Naruhodo, please be careful what you say. If he's been trying to squeeze money out of us, less fortunate than as far as I'm concerned. He's as guilty as sin. The man can hang. Come to think of it, didn't one of the other jurors have something to say about the defendant's underhand activities? If you thought of something, Miss Naruhodo, don't let it go. Test your theory. Pit the 2 jurors whose statements seem to be contradictory against each other. No time like the present to use triangle to pit them against each other or never get anywhere. Yeah, but I wanted to listen to Stabby Man and find out what the hell's his issue. Well, that seems to be a bit hard in and of itself as we pit you against Granny over here.
Objection!
Those 2 statements are completely contradictory. Just dropped his knife. What? Explain, counsel, post haste. Oh, dearie me, I was only knitting a jump of my other half. What is all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3... What? Can't you see that I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Ah, want to test me, do you? It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up, just like the prim banker said. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, juror number 6. Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madame? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it. It was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so. Now don't move. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? Bless my stitches! What a muddle! What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh! But why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. The scales. I don't believe it. Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors, I warn you. You cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's Clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all of this? Answer me this, Dark Jinx. Huh? Me? What exactly is the problem? What of it if two witnesses have slightly different recollections of events? What of it? Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus, and this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then the Shylock stabbed him again, and this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that? Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why I should take this knife to you?
Why are you calling old? Why I should take this needle to you?
They're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? To the court record. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife. Once with the abdomen in a knife. Also, picture. No second thing. He's still in the seat. No one on the ground. So what was actually seen? It's out of the question, I say. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman... What is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. What? What are you even talking about, man? How can you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me some proof. It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime, as proven by the fact that there was only a single stab wound.
Take that!
This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only once. Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen two different times. Alright, I concede defeat. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won. We haven't won one, but we've won. Our small battle, not the war. What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. But we had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a lie when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. Please tell me he's a barber. Oh, well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate, and the trial must continue. Surely I only needed 3. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places. And I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. So, Lord Van Zieks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution if you please. See you down one in the meantime. Yeah, just get more drunk. We might be able to be better. having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice. It may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks! Is it cold in here, or is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There's nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No, and why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Bring forth the witnesses once more! Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure. Yes, sir, that I did, sir. Of course I heard it. Oh, yes, sir, I heard it. You, sir, on the end, the coachman. I believe it's Beppo. Yes, sir, my lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oh, mio Dio. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. Various misgivings. I only carried 4 passages that night. I swear it. Well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. He fiddles as the fairy did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much. I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cousinage. Beppo, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The Guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare? It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty. You have been dishonest, Coachman. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, Beppo. A disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild. If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week. What? 4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. No, that figures. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination if you please. We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely. Press, press, press. I only carried 4 passengers that night, I swear, but
Hold it!
hopefully my pressing doesn't end up with more flames going around the place. So there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare. Is that right? Oh yeah, reactions. It's impossible to make the last run of the day pay. I was just
cold. It was all I could do to stop myself passing out.
I'm getting chilblains just listening to you.
It was terrible, so I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Doesn't a dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny passenger?
You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there had been a fifth passenger on the omnibus that night, then we would have had another suspect.
Well, I for one was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
Hold it!
Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir.
And I just told you that I did. A flat fare, 5 pence across the board.
It's not something to be proud of.
The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort.
Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed,
It's gone, dead and buried.
I'd have been happy if it had ever existed in the first place. He fiddles on the ferry, did, and I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much.
Hold it!
This blood-curdling sight, you mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir.
A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of the man the moment his life is taken.
Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed.
Good gracious! Really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it.
But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant.
I had the banker gent next to me who takes a shot and take a break.
See, that's when I looked through the grass. That's when I saw that horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. What about the guy in the jury?
So there wasn't a prompt to say, this is significant then? I'll tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Hold it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him?
That's what I said, isn't it?
It was bothering me before, this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question.
Anyway, there was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as yet, zero evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty!
Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. Wish I could work out what it was.
Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes.
You think?
Hold it!
Earlier you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you?
Oh, yes, that's right.
You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip.
I suppose. I might have, you know. Yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horse when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck.
Ah, I expect that was me, sir.
Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was a famous man. Yes.
So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all?
I really thought that I did, but when I go over it again in my head.
He does look suspicious, doesn't he?
No, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I?
We got him. We got him. Excellent. What the hell is up with you, sir?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay.
Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Some days are like that, no chance. Well, I think I should rile him up more, right? No chance is what I'll say. Yeah, some days are like that. You're just there sitting around and you see a stabbing and you go, oh, it's a stabbing. There's no chance. You'd mean to have to be intently looking down versus around. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a Ballarat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that, all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man?
Pause for victory. Present. Obvious statement. Blood-soaked hands, you say? Well, the defendant was wearing gloves, supposedly. These are his gloves. We didn't see any blood-soaked hands. Did you really see the scene in question? I don't think so.
Objection.
Blood-soaked hands.
Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar.
What?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question.
Oh, yes, right.
And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-coloured stain there. But, as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove.
Ah!
In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. Also, you said hands. I thought you did say gloved hands. Oh, yeah. Hands are still hands when they're gloved or not. I'm correct.
Ah! But no, that can't be right.
So you're the liar here then?
Ah!
That's right. You were quite clear about it. You said, yeah, it was both hands. Mr. Fairplay, your last statement was a lie. It calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection! It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it was both hands. It wasn't both hands. It was only one. But the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection.
No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated he saw blood all over both hands. Which means there's a strong possibility this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
Ah! Why, I'm a city banker for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't barricade.
Indeed. I remember when I worked at a bank for a little bit, my granddad, who was hella old, thought I was living like some super respectable job because that's how bankers were considered at some point in time. However, of course, nowadays, it's just glorified cashiers. But that's not the point. He would have been a man about town, this guy. Upstanding member of society is how everyone would have considered him. He's claiming to have no reason to lie. But is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely. Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. Ooh, I don't think I have any evidence. But it's always a negative statement to say that there is no evidence. I wonder where he's sitting. I don't know why they just sat next to each other and not across from each other either. I guess I've gotta say this? Like, evidence, but why? Maybe there's something I just haven't looked at yet. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Oh, a W? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Huh? Oh, sorry, yes. I just don't really like blades. Oh, those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. That's not a blade, that's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. An ornate letter M, undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilder's initial. And it's beautifully gilded too. It must be very valuable, I should think. Ah! What is it? Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything. A W? Yes, this is one of those, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I don't know it all. But what I am sure of is that this is an M. Oh, well, that idea was quickly squashed. Why didn't you believe me, lady? That looks like a lot of blood. It surely is blood. The victims. An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Did you think it wouldn't? Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. Why'd you take my W away from me? I was going for the W. Ooh. This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry. Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside? Indeed. Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. I assure you we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside. Well, let's see what we find. Oh ho ho. I feel like I should have opened this earlier. I can't read any of it. Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Ah, goodness! What is it? Look at this! Do you see this name here? Bruce Fairplay. Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually. Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment. Oh yes, of course, the banker! Why is his name in here? Ah, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information. Hey! Bruce Fairplay has a loan to repay. Well, if in doubt and you don't know the answer, head into the court record and you might find it. The way is open. My lord. Yes, counsel. The defense is ready to present evidence. By Jove, are you sure? Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony. Ah! Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present as evidence the evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
Take that!
This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worth being called a debt, yes. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say? Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. what would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. And therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claim in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw in a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant?
Order! 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 Mr. Bruce Fairplay! Yes, my lord! Let me ask you again. And be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you, or did you not, see the precise moment in time in which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Well, we will get the update on this statement next time on the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, where Little Diaries of the Court Record has solved one of our issues. Yet again, another mistaken belief with the gloves. Why did I see? I saw his bloodstained hands just go in my head. That means he was wearing gloves. You saw his hands directly, did you? You're such good. But it's not that. It's just the stain, the amount. I imagine I would have seen that for definite if I pressed, but I just jumped the gun and went, wow, he's wearing gloves. Who's saying it was barehanded, you fool? I didn't even know where I went with that one. But thanks to a little bit of extra examination, and I do wonder if that's a W because of the flick at the end, actually. I do wonder, but supposedly just an M. Thanks to examining the debtor's ledger at last, we got ourselves the information to get to a point where it seems that no one has seen the murder take place. Join me next time, where we see where this goes and we get Bruce Fairplay's answer. I'll see you guys then for more. Bye-bye.